Hi, and welcome to another episode of Don't IEP Alone. I'm Lisa Leitner, and if you're just listening, in the car, on your device, or whatever, be glad you can't see me. I look really stuffed in this sweater that I'm wearing today. It is bitter, bitter cold here today, so I am wearing a big red wool sweater, and it feels nice and cozy, but yeah, this is not going to look great on camera, but oh well, I'm not changing now. Anyway, welcome to January again. I apologize for again being inconsistent with new episodes. I can't seem to catch a break between appointments and snow days and more days off and more days off. They just keep coming and coming. And each day I'm like, why didn't I know this? Or why didn't I remember this? And anyway, that's why new episodes are not getting posted at the rate that I would like them to, or that I had promised you that they would. So, registration is still underway if you would like to enroll in Don't IEP Alone Academy. Not only have I now done the outline for the new content, but I have put together the first couple of presentations, and I've reworked the content to be in more sizable chunks. And also, I don't know if you guys have heard of the gentleman, I wish I could remember his name, but I can't, the guy who does the death by PowerPoint stuff. He's pretty funny if you look for his TED Talks. They're on YouTube. But I was watching some of them the other day when Kevin was in CHOP getting his teeth done, because you're just basically sitting around a hospital doing nothing. And I knew that I had to get these presentations done. And I just thought, I hate my presentations. What can I do to make them look better? And I came across this guy who I had seen before and just kind of forgot about it. But I watched a couple of the TED Talks and things, and it's really great stuff. So I'm also anxious that I think I have, according to him anyway, in his studies and his research and his tactics, that I have much better PowerPoints than what I offered the first group. When I did that first launch of the course in 2020, when I look back now at those slide presentations, I'm like, I can't even believe I put that out there. But I did. When you know better, you do better. And I am always trying to improve what I offer you all as far as products and training and so on. And speaking of, I offered a new webinar, and I don't know if anybody who listened to this last week who heard it and signed up, if you came to it. I didn't have many participants, which is fine, a few dozen. I tried a new topic and a new presentation, and it was my new kind of death by PowerPoint philosophy infused into it, and his tips on colors and how many things you put on a slide and things like that. So, but all that to say, I was really, really excited about the presentation, and it flopped, completely flopped. It did not land. I am in a much different place than I was a year ago at this time, or 2 years ago at this time. And, sometimes I do a little bit of projecting, and that where I am in life, like I guess maybe it's not even projecting. It's that I'm just sharing, right? Like, as people ask, like, how can I be a better advocate? How can I do this? How can I do that? In this field, I am a go-to person, and people come to me for advice. And so, yes, when I am going through something new or learning something new, I share it, because people expect me to, and I have been for 15 years. I've been sharing online for over 20 years, for much longer than I've been on Facebook or social media, I should say. And I was so in a previous life, I used to show dogs. And so I was on some message boards back in the late 90s, and listservs. Remember listservs? I was on listservs for dogs. And message boards. And then another fun fact about me is that I used to be one of those crazy, and I say crazy in an affectionate way, one of those crazy extreme couponers people. So I was engaged in online boards about couponing, and my friend Heidi used to own a site. She doesn't own it anymore. But it had a little subset to it where you could write your own blogs on there. So I've been blogging per se since 2005 or 2006, before Kevin was born. So when I became an advocate after Kevin was born, I already knew the ins and outs of blogging, because I used to have then a coupon and deal blog, which I got rid of in 2012, I think. Because unfortunately, if you saw the TV show Extreme Couponers, I actually knew a bunch of the moms who were on that show. And, we'd talk about it on the message boards, because, again, this was kind of before social media. But I knew a bunch of them, and we'd discuss it and all that fun stuff. And at the time, I was extremely jealous of them for getting that exposure, because it looked like a lot of fun. But the other piece of it was that I thought, well, this is really going to ruin couponing. And sure enough, the internet and message boards and then social media and the TV show really did ruin extreme couponing, and nothing that we ever did was illegal. It was just kind of exploiting coupon policies. And so then the stores were like, wait, huh? What? You're doing what here? And then, of course, the decline of newspapers, which meant the decline of coupons and e-coupons, where they could track each one that you used and stuff like that. Anyway, all that to say that I came into this with already having a significant amount of blogging knowledge and sharing my story and sharing my journey. So that's what I do. And so I entered, was it last Saturday or Saturday before, the free webinar that I was doing. One of the most common questions that I always get from parents is, what can I ask for on my IEP? And so that's why I decided to do the webinar on it. But it wasn't just about answering that question. It was about that where I'm at right now is that I'm feeling extremely frustrated with parents. And I'm talking about IEP parents, and that might include some of you who are listening to this right now. I'm feeling extremely frustrated with the bulk of IEP parents, and I'm just coming kind of from a position of, I called it tough love the other day on Facebook. Maybe that's not appropriate, but kind of this, hey, snap out of it. And what I mean by that is that you have to take ownership of your IEP experience and your IEP journey. And I'm just finding that everybody says they want change. Everybody says they want a better IEP. Everybody says they want to advocate for their child. But everybody wants the quick fix. And nobody wants to put the work in that's required to have a long, calm IEP journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen with any one email or any one action, or any one meeting does not solve all your IEP problems. It's a journey, and it's a process. And it's a process of, gathering more data, and then doing this and then doing that. And it just doesn't happen overnight. And what I'm just finding more and more is when I offer to help people on that journey in a variety of capacities, that they don't want the help. They don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do it. They want the quick fix. They want the just tell me the answer kind of thing to it. And then there's this whole piece of, well, I can't right now, so when I question them on that, and then it's the, well, I can't right now, because I have this and I have this, and I get it. Listen, my kid has 50 to 60 seizures every day. He is tube fed. He does not speak. I work very long hours. I work probably 50 or 60 hours a week. And I also try to have somewhat of a normal life with my other child and attending all of his basketball things, which he does play year round. And I'm trying to do all that. And then I have other moms that I'm friends with. And, so anyway, I'm busy too. I get it. I understand the whole caregiving piece. I understand that you have aging parents, that you may have job losses, that your job just may be extra busy right now. Um, all these things. And I always give grace, right? Like I always give grace. And I even find myself reminding others to, like, well, maybe this was all they could do right now. But at a certain point, you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and realize that no one besides you is motivated to fix your IEP more than you. I'll say that again. No one is more motivated than you to fix your IEP. No one is going to do it. And I was very firm about a lot of this. And the other thing is that when when parents came to this webinar expecting to hear the question answered, what can I ask for on my IEP? And I told them, if I hear a parent ask me that question, that tells me that you know nothing about the IEP process. Regardless of what you think you know, regardless of how many IEP meetings you've been to, if you ask the question, what can I ask for on my IEP, that tells me that you don't know. And that's one of the biggest challenges I run into with trying to promote what I'm offering, is that parents don't know what they don't know. So anyway, I was very firm, because that's just where I'm at this January, and it just didn't land well. And in fact, it's so funny because I just I don't want to say I went on a tirade, but throughout the entire presentation, I was very firm with, you don't know. And if you ask me that question, you don't know the IEP process, and you've got to learn it, because no one cares about your IEP except you. Teachers don't have time to care. They want to care. They don't have time. They don't have enough resources to care. So no one's going to take charge of this except you. The other thing is that if you've agreed to an IEP that you don't really agree with, your child's IEP is basically a written document. It is their FAPE, so free and appropriate education. So when people go, well, what is FAPE for my child? FAPE is your IEP. So if you agreed to that, that is their FAPE. So if you agreed to it, the school sees that you agreed to it, right? You didn't file for mediation or due process, so you agreed to it. I don't know why you think that they think it needs to be changed. I don't know why there is this expectation that if you're unhappy with your IEP, that you're expecting the team to come to the table next time with something so different, because they think you agree, because you did agree. So you need to own that. And they go, oh, I didn't really agree. They have to know that I don't, they don't. You agreed to it. So, and I'm just, again, I'm trying to kind of nudge you all into this piece of, you have to take ownership of this. And I gave the example, and I put this example, I said it during the webinar, and I said it again on Facebook, that I have a family history of a lot of significant health issues for women. And so I joined a gym, and I usually work out pretty regularly, and had for years and years and years, and then got out of the habit during the pandemic. When that dust settled, I joined the gym again, and then wasn't using the membership, and Kevin's seizures were really bad. So I left again. Then again, on December 30th, I joined again. And so from December 30th to now, I have gone exactly one time. So I can talk all day about how important it is for me to be healthy and fit and lead a healthy lifestyle and work out and exercise and build muscle and bone mass, right? I can say it as much as I want. My behavior tells a very different story. And then people go, well, yeah, but you have Kevin, and he's so high needs, and he requires so much one-on-one care, and he's tube fed, and you work so many hours, and you work really hard, and yeah, I can always come up with a bunch of reasons why I don't get to the gym. But that doesn't change the fact that I don't get to the gym. So change is not going to happen. It's not going to happen until I get there. I can't sit around waiting for, muscle and bone density to grow on me if I'm not doing anything about it. So, I would say the same philosophy kind of applies to IEPs here. If you're just going to sit around and wait, and then that's when people get really offended, right? Oh, I'm not sitting around waiting. Well, what are you doing then? What are you doing to change your situation? Because you can always do something. I acknowledge that people get stuck, right? I'm stuck with not being I'm in a pattern where I can't get to the gym regularly. Won't get to the gym regularly, however you want to phrase it. I get that. They don't know the first step to take. They don't know what to do. But no one is coming to do this for you. And the schools have fulfilled their legal obligation once they give you that procedural safeguards booklet. They've given you a copy of your rights, and in the back is information to, pursue it further if you have more questions. So they've done what they need to do. Because there's that whole other, well, why didn't the school tell me? Why didn't they tell me? They did tell you. They gave you the book. That's all they need to do. They're not going to hunt you down and beg you to use your parental rights. They're not. Change has to start with you. Anyway, as part of the new year and me trying to get myself motivated and all that, again, I know I'm just kind of sharing this because that's what I'm going through right now, but I also found one more item that I will share before I sign off for today. And that is following this woman on Instagram. And I wish I could find, whatever, I can't log out and go find it and read it to you, her post. But it was just something about, you can blame people, and she wasn't saying the school because this was business related. But you could relate it to school and say, well, you can blame the school and that this is their problem and this is this and this, and we can blame the whatever society for being ableist, and we can the fact is, once this problem enters your orbit and it's a problem for you, it's your obligation to figure out a way to fix it. It just is. It's not anybody else's problem or concern to make your IEP better. It's just not. People will fix their own situation, right? If they're gonna, they did make it better because he only had an IEP and now he has an IEP and a behavior plan. Did they really do that for them, or were their behaviors bothering them? Was it for you, or was it because they're trying to clean up their own situation and the behaviors are a nuisance to them? Right? No one is motivated to fix your IEP besides you. So if you take nothing away from any of my episodes, any of my teachings, learn that. No one wants to fix your IEP besides you. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Sorry for rambling. If you have any topic suggestions, please email us at IEP@adayinourshoes. Or you can always try to DM me on Instagram. I'm not so great about answering those, but I love having guest speakers on, and I haven't been able to line any up, and I would love to have some. So if you work in our industry, give me a shout. Thanks.